Yo, what's up? Good morning, friends. Welcome back, YouTube. Hope you're doing great. Hope you had a nice, safe trading day. I kind of did. It was all right. Not a lot of dynamic runs, and everything was kind of short-lived until the end of the day. But that's okay. Got a little trade in. Um, well, we closed inside that reclaimed breaker, so that's a start. We found some sensitivity at this blue shaded area. I was giving it its opportunity to want to jump up at midnight. It looked like it could have went up, and it didn't. So that's okay. Hold on a second. Yeah, so what do we got to work with here? Well, we've got a low, higher high, lower low now. So now we have a bearish breaker. And it looks like we could get that shot to the downside we're looking at. You know what? Well, before I clean this up, I'm just going to remove that and then go into the 15-minute chart. We'll just take a look at what happened. So from midnight, we traded up. We hit the blue shaded area, slammed down, and created this is a 1 hour bearish breaker. And then for the London lunch, we just started a dynamic run, which gave us a little clue that New York AM session was going to be a little terrible. It's for your notes if you want. This is a 1 hour balanced price range, and we snapped down. We hit that upper quadrant of that tail in the daily time frame I was telling you about. 9:30, ram right up to the bearish breaker, snaps buy side liquidity right here. Ruthless run down, comes all the way back up for the deepest premium possible, clearing the balanced range. You'd think that this thing would have launched to the equal highs, but no. Sends it right back down, triple bottom here, right? And then it comes back up. So we were looking at this today in the 5-minute chart, and we were like, okay, well, if this thing wants to do its job, here's the thing, but I would like to see this melted through. Well, it melted to and through, back up, and then back to and through. And finally, this right here is what I was looking for right here. So it just happened a little later. Timing was a bit off. It was just stupid and ruthless this morning. And then finally, giving up the ghost, hitting target 1 for the day. And it gave a little more. I wasn't counting on that, but it's not like it wasn't expected. And finding the low of the day at the lower quadrant of that specific array. So I'm kind of happy with that down movement. It is Monday, and we did dive first. So, I'm not like super, super duper bearish. I want you to know that. I am, gun to my head, kind of bearish because it's just looking like it's kind of bearish, but I'm framing it both ways. So a lot of the analysis, and this is a perk to being a private student, is having that real-time analysis in the morning just for what we're looking for. And my students can confirm I was looking for 24,860.75 today for Terminus. I did end up taking my first, so we'll go to the 1 hour chart. I'll show you what I was looking at, just for like an intraday bias kind of thing. So it was this balanced range here, this fair value gap, how it just had one single clean pass back up, one single clean pass back below. That's balanced. And so I was looking for some lower repricing, and then 1 hour. So there's the bearish breaker as well. Oh, shucks. Where was I going with that? I took a loss here. Yeah, because I was checking out this here first. This was my first bearish breaker that I was considering. That's kind of like equilibrium. So it wasn't, it was like, okay, have this on your chart. And I took a loss on the fair value gap here and just let it come right back up. And then I shorted again at this bearish breaker here. And that was my entry, and my exit was just before I think it was just the purple box here. And yeah, that was good enough for me. It was a pretty sweet day, and just sat and did nothing else. So You know, when it trades down first at the beginning of the week, it makes me feel really bullish. And we kind of got that little profile that says we're kind of bullish. So, like, I want to be bullish, but at the same time, did we pump enough? You know, you look at that chart and you're just like, wow, when do we do one of these bear runs? And if we go to the NQ1 chart, I think we were here, yesterday, just showing you, like, when are we going to get a nice bear market? You know, they're pretty short-lived in NASDAQ historically. Even this one here for Judas for the year, you know, open, low, high, close stuff. So like we're in a distribution phase of the cycle. That's why I'm kind of bearish. Now the difference between the end of the calendar year and the end of the quarter, or sorry, the end of the algorithmic year, just if you want to see distribution from the year, are you going to pick this quarter or the next quarter? So whatever happens this quarter will give us a good indication of what's likely going to happen next quarter. So if we do this big immaculate dump, 2026, we could see another all-time high at the beginning of the year. So we're just, like I said, it's mostly real-time analysis, nothing super hard-lined. I do have expectations, but I want those to be met before I'm engaging with price. And if I am, it becomes very, very obvious. And that short this morning was quite obvious to me. And I'll show you why. You know, when we had poked up above midnight here and made, the Judas for the day, hitting the higher time frame fair value gap and wiping out buy-side liquidity, I was immediately considering the top in for the day. So this ride up here at opening bell, that's what I was trying to get in on, was the lower high of the downtrend. And finding the low there today at 3 o'clock, run a time stop for 3, and yeah, it's pretty sweet. So not bad, yeah. All right, now to clean this thing up. And what are we looking at? Well, we'll start in the week. Well, we'll start in the month because it's, you know, that time where the things really got to really prove what's going on here because we're in expansion mode. So I'm going to take the previous month's range, turn on my fib retracements, 20 to 30%. We've hit 20% as a bottom. I think that was today, yeah? No, not quite. That was last week. Okay. Still cool. So last week's bottom, if we can hold that, we've got a swing low here and a discount, okay, on a daily chart. So, look, just gun to my head, I say we come revisit this. That right there. I don't want to grade it. I want it shaded. So it's I'm using the remaining portion of what's left of that inefficiency for my midway point. As far as order flow is concerned, it's pretty bearish right now. So I would anticipate that previous day's low gets breached. Previous day's low, sell side liquidity is on the table. So what are we looking at for some resistance points? Definitely this puppy. That's a good one. We've already kind of used it, and we seem to be in that mood. You know, that the red shaded area aligns with this as well. If and when we get in there, I'll be grading this. Like if we come up for a retest, then I'll be grading this just to see where it's going to want to stop. If we start losing the midway point and we make a fair value gap here tomorrow at 10:07 a.m., I'll deem my bearish bias completely offside, and I'll try and get in sync with something for a ride up. I don't like doing that, calling both directions like that, but we're just in that kind of sketchy market where it literally can go up or down. Like I can frame it easily both directions. That purple box has a double bottom. There's sell side liquidity there. This top up here, it has a double top. So there's buy side liquidity up here with a wickless candle. So the open is 104.50 and the high is 104.50. So there's no wick on there. So it's inefficient. Okay. And yeah, so just gun to my head, I still think we go down, even though I am considering that we're going to reverse. We could reverse any minute. And we will lose specific arrays and trend in the 4-hour chart. And if we do continue up for this double top here, it shouldn't be too, we won't be blindsided. Let's just put it that way. It'll be pretty obvious. Alrighty, Rooney. So just for now, this is what I'm aiming for. And if I don't get that, I'm not going to be butthurt. But we have some weird folders this week with the government reopen. They're catching up on Fed drivers. So just be careful, you guys. Business as usual. Make it really simple. No model, no play. And if you take a loss, make sure it's small, because when your model does bang and it's perfect and everything's great, you don't have to be digging yourself out of a giant hole or starting over. All right? Very important, you guys. Keep it light, keep it tight, and be safe.